Hey, this is BFix here. Today we're going to be talking about Amsterdam Dance Event, better well known as ADE, the biggest dance music conference in the world. And we're going to be talking about, is it right for you? Is it worth going? Is it worth the expense if you're traveling outside of Holland to go to this conference? And we're going to be giving you tips and tricks on how to make the most out of your ADE experience. As I said before, I'm BFix, let's get into it. So what is ADE? ADE is both the biggest dance music conference in the world, and it also doubles as a festival where labels showcase their artists showcase themselves, and there's basically just a whole bunch of music events spread out across Amsterdam in nearly every single event space, from bars to event conference areas. The festival side of ADE is massive. Every night there is at least 6 or 7 acts you want to go to, and it is just so much to do that you literally can't cram it all in one night. Every subgenre in dance music has its own time in the spotlight, from tech to dubstep. On the conference side of things, there is plenty of workshops, panels, discussions, music business leaders, PR, AR, there's leaders from the music tech industry, so obviously you'll see you guys from Denon and Pioneer there showcasing their latest gear at ADE, and it is also chock-a-blocks with artists, DJs, producers, singers, songwriters, anyone and everyone who's trying to do something creative in this industry. The question I want to ask you though, and the question you're probably asking yourself is ADE right for me? Should I be spending all this money in travel, accommodation, the expenses there, and the festival ticket itself and the conference ticket? If you don't live in Holland, this can actually be quite expensive. So take it from me, I'm not at ADE at the moment. I'm very sad that I'm not at ADE at the moment. However, it is a 2,000 to 3,000, possibly more, expense just to go to the festival. I live in Perth, Australia. The tickets and airfares alone are well over $1,000, and it would be the same if you're from the United States, Asia, and maybe other parts of Europe. It's obviously going to be a little bit less if you live in Europe, but same amount of investment. You're going to have to be spending a lot of money just to attend ADE, and you have to write this as a business expense. Is this business expense gonna be worth it to you? And you have to ask yourself one very important question first. What do you hope to get out of ADE? Are you an artist and producer who's going to be trying to get signed, or are you looking for maybe a singer? Or maybe you're part of the business industry itself. You work in A&R, you are maybe starting up your own label and you want to reach out to artists. Clearly define what you want to get out of ADE before even thinking about whether you want to go. The next question you want to ask yourself is, can these goals be achieved without going to ADE? What goals are these, and can you achieve them without the expense? This is a big music business decision. Think of it as a business decision. Is this conference, it might be the biggest conference in the world, but is this conference going to achieve your goals? So most of the people who might be watching this video are most than likely going to be producers, artists, DJs, and the like. So you have to ask yourself, where are you in your career at the moment? Now, you have to look at yourself as a product. I know it sounds very, very corporate, but essentially you are a product. So if you're actively producing music and you're actively releasing music, you have a product to sell at ADE. If you are not actively producing music or recording music or putting out music or have something to show at ADE, you need to seriously ask yourself, is ADE right for you? If you're not producing or releasing music, then I highly doubt that you'll be able to achieve the results that you expect from ADE with nothing to sell. Think of it this way. If you're going to a marketplace and you go to sell fish, but you don't have any fish, then no one's going to buy from you. You can't expect to have a 10 gig tour around Europe or the US if you don't have any music to show, if you have a low social media account, if you don't have a following or a fan base. You have to be realistic about what you can get out of ADE and what ADE can do for you. But of course, I am not talking about celebrity DJs who have a following but don't release music. That's another kettle of fish, and that's either a future video, and I'm not touching that political shitstorm. However, if you are producing music, releasing music currently, then you still need to revert back to the previous question. What are you supposed to get out of ADE, and how is this right for you? Now, the biggest thing that most people go for when they're going to ADEs. They want to get signed by A&R, they want to get signed by the big labels, Sony, Universal, Spinning, you know, the list goes on. Or even maybe Ultra behind me, they want to get signed by Ultra, or they want to play at Ultra, or Mysteryland, or be EDX chauffeur, I don't know. In order to do this, the biggest piece of advice I can give, and unfortunately I didn't know this at the time when I went to ADE a couple of years ago, and this was you need to do a lot of pre-preparation before you even go to ADE. What I mean by this is you need to decide months in advance if you're going to go. There's no point of deciding to go to ADE 2 days before the event. ADE's tomorrow. If you haven't decided yet and you don't live in Holland, you're too late. I'm sorry, but you're gone. If you're watching this video in maybe 6 months time and you're thinking about going to ADE in 2020, then make the decision early on and start reaching out to the people that you want to speak to. There are so many people that attend ADE, and a lot of the major guys and girls in the industry that you want to speak to. So say you want to speak to Major Records, you want to speak to Amadi, you want to speak to Spinning, you want to speak to, I don't know, Universal, Sony, whatever the label you want to speak to, you need to reach out to these individuals well before ADE starts. And the reason being is these people are going to be slammed with meetings all throughout the ADE week. They are going to be in meetings from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and the likelihood of you actually getting some FaceTime with these people randomly, like accidentally randomly bumping into them, is pretty slim. And if you do, you know, great, but the likelihood is pretty small. Amsterdam's a big city. There is a lot of conferences space that's not all in the same building. It's all throughout different buildings, and they're, as I said, they're going to be in meetings all the time. So you need to get in early with the people that you want to speak to, because again, this revolves back to achieving your goals for ADE. You must know what you want to achieve, and in order to achieve that, you must know who you're going to speak to. So as long as you've reached out, I would say at least 6 weeks before the event, to these individuals, and you've booked in your meetings, you've had a look at the all of what's going on throughout ADE, you've seen what parties have been announced and what workshops and what panels. Make sure you lock them in, get a schedule, and lock in what you're going to do on each day, because very quickly you will run out of time. There is so much to see and do, and you need to make sure that you have a really concise lineup and roster about what you're going to do on each day. So scheduling is really important. Another tip for you is if you are a releasing artist and you're releasing on a label, reach out to your label, because it's very, very likely that that label is going to have a release night. It's going to have some sort of showcase. In this respect, this is an awesome opportunity for you as an artist to showcase your ability, your DJ skills, and who you are as a character and as a brand to music leaders all throughout the world in one space. There is not any opportunity like this at all. ADE is the only place where you can do this. So most labels, and pretty much all labels in dance music, will try and have some sort of evening or showcase at ADE. So if your label is having one, reach out to them. Say, hey, I would like to play the label release night that you guys are doing. Can I please be put on the lineup? Have a discussion with them, get in early, and make sure you get on that lineup, because that is an awesome opportunity to play to business leaders. The other thing as well is don't charge for it. A lot of people at ADE do not charge for their sets. So going to your label and saying, oh, I'm gonna ask for $4,000 for this set. It's my standard fee, but I've given you a discount. Don't do that. Just play for free, showcase. That's what it is. You are selling yourself as a brand. You're not trying to get a cheap and quick buck. It is about selling yourself to the next person. Martin Garrix, for instance, just announced that he's going to try and do this monster showcase at ADE, and he's going to be losing money on the production of it. Him and his team anyway, they're going to be losing money on the production of it. However, his team and he realizes that this is a marketing opportunity and an opportunity to show who you are and what you're about. Or to be perfectly honest, Martin Garrix is that huge. I don't even know why he would need it, but next piece of advice is once ADE is over, so ADE is done, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're flying home, whatever. In that next week post ADE, please, 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 if you have got business cards, you've got contact information, you've reached out to other DJs and whatnot at the conference and you've made friends with them, reach out again, follow up on your contacts. It is so important that you follow up and remind them of who you are, because guarantee you, you'll meet that many people that you'll forget half the people anyway in there. Follow up, reach out, even if you're not really interested in a business at this particular moment with them, reach out to them anyway. One other piece of advice I can give you guys is that you don't want to shrug off anyone. If you see a fellow DJ producer and he's standing at the bar with you, you don't want to just go, I don't want to speak to them because they're just a DJ and producer. I want to find A&R, I want to find a manager, I want to find a booking agent. You don't know their story, son. Don't be an arrogant dick. Go speak to that person, introduce yourself. They might not play the same music as you, they might not be into the same taste as you, but what it does do is it creates a relationship. They might actually book for a club or they might be a promoter back home that actually promotes your style of music. Or down the line, they might switch career paths and they might go into A&R, or they might start their own label which does do your music. You never know who these people might become. And the biggest thing is they might actually become a major artist one day as well. So you could also have that relationship with them, promote your music to them, they promote their music to you. It's a nice big circle of love and happiness. Don't shrug off other fellow DJs and producers, because you never know who they will be and you never know who they actually are really. One quick story is I met a guy at ADE a couple of years ago, and he was the guy who wrote I Know You Want Me by Pitbull. He wrote part of that, and that was a big success commercially. And now he actually releases songs more in the house domain, but I still actually play those house tracks. So I've met an artist that I actually play the tracks to just randomly. And the reason why I got there was because I didn't shrug this person off as soon as he said he was a producer and he was a DJ. Turns out he runs his own record label as well. And, that's a really good example of how you shouldn't shrug people off, because you never know who they are. So some real quick ones for you. Don't look at name tags, like go like this. You're this person. Okay, you're a DJ, I don't want to talk to you. Don't be really obvious about looking at name tags. For me personally, I saw it a lot of times and people did it to me. I found it really rude. Just say hello, my name is this. If they're not the person that you're looking for, then fair enough, but just don't be like, and try and look at them, because it comes across as being rude and you're a bit of a dick. If you've got DJ friends or producer friends in your city, or you've got friends that might thinking of going over, message them, see if you can possibly share on accommodation costs, because accommodation in Amsterdam is ridiculously expensive during ADE. It's ridiculously expensive, just normally because it's Amsterdam, but it is very expensive during ADE, and you can share the costs of a room if you go with someone else. If you decide to go out and party and you go to these label nights that you're affiliated with or you want to be a part of, go to these parties, hang around the DJ booth and talk to people. Don't just stand there and drink. I know you want to party, but try and, it's not trying to weasel your way in, but you never know who you can meet. I mean, for me personally, I met some spinning staff when I was at the spinning night, and Don Diablo playing, and so was EDX, and that was really interesting conversation I was able to get out of that and get some insight into the label of spinning from just talking to random people. So talk to people at the label nights, because they are most likely going to be from the label. Skip tech demos, workshops, or anything that shows you how to use Ableton. You should be able to do that already. Prioritize your time and go to panels, go to networking events, go and to your meetings, do everything else first before you go to these workshops. If you've got nothing else to do, then obviously go to them, but they are a low priority. Don't prioritize those workshops. Go to the networking things first, because that is where you're going to more than likely achieve the goals that you actually want to achieve at ADE. Make sure that all of your music is prepared. Don't give out music that's not finished. Don't give out, collaboration ideas. Have finished music that's been mastered. If it's not been mastered, then at least the final mix down of the track. When you go to meet them, make sure it's on your phone ready to go, whether it's in a private link or it's in a private SoundCloud. I would even bring your own headphones, not earphones, headphones, because headphones are Some people get funny about, the hygiene of earphones, so headphones. Make sure that your music's all ready to go, and also make sure that your electronic press kit is up to scratch as well. A good way to show what you're about is to show footage, to show photos, to show prior events that you've played at. This is obviously more moving into the talent booking side and the management side, but also if you're looking for management and you're looking for talent bookings, a talent booking agent, then also have the statistics about your engagement and about your social following. So say I have this many followers on Facebook, I have this many followers on Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, etc. This is how many Spotify plays I had last year. So these are really good tips in order to sort of win them over, because at the end of the day you are selling yourself and you're selling your brand. So make sure you come to ADE ready to go and you've got all of your materials in order. So music all the way through to who you are and what you have to offer. The next point is really important. It's commonly forgotten and it's commonly not even thought about, to be perfectly honest, is to think about what questions are they going to ask you before you even go into the meeting. So if you're going into A&R meeting and you're trying to sell the track, they'll ask you, why do you want to sign with us? Or what made you choose our label to sign with? What type of track is it? And you sitting there and going, well, it's a progressive house, big room track, kind of smashed with punk and bit of hardware, and I think it's like that and it's pretty good. Show confidence that your music is good. Show confidence in your answers, and it will go a long way in just selling that track to these labels without them going, maybe not, because this guy doesn't even know what his track's about. If your track has a story behind it, especially if you've been doing the songwriting behind it, tell them the backstory of this song, tell them what it's about and what type of feelings that it encourages in the listener. So that's a really big tip, and that's something I didn't know when I went to ADE, and I wish I did, but that's a big tip for you guys, is to make sure that you ask yourself these questions as if A&R was asking you, and have them pre-prepared in your mind, rehearse it before you go in. You are trying to impress. Finally, the last piece of advice I can give from a business standpoint in your brand and your music is business first, party second. As much as you might want to go to all of these label release nights, get really drunk and have a really good time, if you've got friends there you're meeting up with that you haven't seen in a while, great. But at the end of the day, this is a conference, it is a business. If you've got an 8 a.m. meeting, then don't go out and party till 4 a.m. the night before and be all tired and hungover the next day, and then you have to rock up with glasses on and you give half-assed answers and you look and smell and present yourself terribly because you're just so hungover. Business first, party second. You're at Amsterdam to make sure that your dreams and your goals will become real. You don't want to piss away that attempt by just drinking your way through ADE. You want to make sure that your goals are met. Again, coming back to that first point, your goals. What are your goals for ADE? How are you going to achieve those goals? And if you're going to achieve those goals that way, make sure you prioritize your time and your effort towards achieving those goals. Finally, before I end this video, I want to remind you to subscribe. If you found any of the information useful in this video, then make sure to subscribe and you will get more content and you will find more tips and tricks to help you in your music career. To summarize this video, you just need to remember a few things. If you get anything out of it, these are the things you want to remember. You want to make sure that you're asking yourself before you go to ADE, what do you want to get out of it? You want to ask yourself, how are you going to get out of it? And 3, you want to ask yourself, can you achieve these results without the expenditure of going to this conference? If so, if you can achieve these results without going to ADE, then do it that way and you don't have to spend thousands of dollars in travel. On the other side, if you don't think you can, then great, go to ADE, and if you're an artist and producer, then make sure that your stuff is pre-prepared, all your music, all of your packs and stuff that you're going to sell. Make sure that you are reaching out to all of your prospective clients and A&R, management and whoever you want to meet with. Make sure you reach out to them at least 6 weeks beforehand, because they are going to be slammed. They are very busy people and they will not have time for you if you only reach out a week beforehand, because they'll already be booked up. Also, make sure that you are putting the business first, you're prioritizing your time, and you are working really hard to achieve the goals that you put out before you went to ADE, and I'm sure if you have your mind to it and you've already done a few of the things that are in this video, then I am sure that you will definitely reach the goals that you have for ADE. ADE is a fantastic conference and it is an amazing experience for DJs and producers out there. Fortunately, I won't be there this year, however, I will be there next year in 2020. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. This is BFix. Catch you later and good luck at ADE. ADE is a fantastic piece of advice that Alan can get. It does that. However, if you are, how to stop talking right now.